Hello and happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Nadawa from Paper Flow Designs, and this is our Draw and Chat series. So let me just show you today what we're going to be doing. We're going to be drawing this cupcake. This is part of the new series, which is the So Sweet Draw and Chat series. Take that cupcake down. Let me get right into it. Oh, as usual, I want to let you know what I'm using. I'm using Inkscape, and I'm using my shortcuts ebook, which is Inkscape Ready, Set, Go. It's an ebook plus video, depending on which one you want to get, to let you know all of the shortcuts that I use in Inkscape, whether it's on a PC or a Mac. I have all of those shortcuts in the ebook for you, and you can just download that and use those as you're working in Inkscape to make things a lot easier for you. There should be a link to that if you want to check that out. Otherwise, you can just go head over to paperflowdesigns.com and get the information about that. Let me jump right into this. As you're coming in, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to get started drawing our cupcake from the So Sweet series. So the one on the left here is just, the finished version that I've already gone through and done, so you know what we're working on if you are watching this like mid video for some reason. And we're going to start with the rectangles and squares tool. We're just going to draw about a medium-ish size rectangle. It doesn't matter what color comes out. This is the default color in my Inkscape. I'm just going to change that to this yellowish color. And also to let you know that whenever I use the tools, which are like the shapes, the circles, the what they call ellipses, circles, ellipses, squares, stars, all those type of things, I like to, not that I like to, but I always change them from shapes to paths, because eventually when you're going to upload this to Cricut, let's say like Cricut Design Space or Silhouette, Basic Edition, Designer Edition, I don't even know if you can use SVGs with Basic Edition. I think you have to have Designer Edition. Anywho, Glowforge, whatever. You're gonna want them to be set as paths and not as circles and squares and those other things. All right, so I'm just double clicking to get the nodes to shrink it down to a square, and then I can make this kind of like trapezoid cupcake wrapper shape. And I can just pull on the nodes to get that. Looking around me, making sure that I have turned my phone off, because that has happened to me before where someone called in the middle of the live, and I think I was using my phone to like film, so I had to like stick my hands up, right in the front of the screen to turn that off. But yeah, I did turn off the ringer. Look at me remembering things. So if you're wondering if this is your first time joining, I am Nadawa. I have a blog and an Etsy shop called Paperflow Designs, where I make SVG designs in my Etsy shop, and on my blog I write articles and blog posts to teach crafters like you how to draw SVGs, how to use them, and what you can make with them, and how you can make money with them. But that's always a great thing too. So I've just opened up the Align and Distributes menu to kind of align those the points that I have. It doesn't have to be perfect. I actually like when I make the drawings for them not to be completely like symmetrical, because I think it gives it more of a hand-drawn feel that way. But sometimes I do use the Align Distributes menu just to make sure that things are aligned correctly. But even after I do that, I still go ahead and change it just a little bit, just to give it, just one little touch where it's like not exactly, matchy, like I like to say. Sorry for that. That is my dishwasher. Yes, I am at home. This is what working from home means. All right, so I've just duplicated that cupcake wrapper, and I'm going to use the duplicate to make the ridges of the wrapper. So taking that same the first wrapper shape that we made, I'm just going to change the color so that eventually we'll be able to see what we're doing as we overlap it. All right, and I can squeeze that up to make it a little narrow. As you can see in the one that's on the left side, that there are like, these smaller little rectangles that give the illusion of it being like a cupcake wrapper, like that kind of accordion style. I really shouldn't have turned that on before I started. But hey, it's live. That's what happens when you're doing a live, Keeps it funky. All right, I've just duplicated that first little ridge that I made because if you know me, if it's not your first time joining me, I like to make copies as I go along. That's kind of how I learned. It saves me a headache later on. Let's say I'm further on along in the design process, and I actually want to go back and use one element that I made, at the beginning. Well, if I don't make my copies and then, I'm not going to have that element, it's already been changed. So for me, I like to take, pieces of what I'm drawing and I'll make a copy. I'll stick the original somewhere, at the top or at the right, at the left, so that I can come back to it just in case I need it again. I don't always use them, but I like to have it there in case I do. It's like one of my little habits that I'm used to doing in Inkscape, along with saving as I go along. Because if you've ever used Inkscape, I should stop saying that because I haven't had it crash on me in a long time. It used to, like years ago, crash a lot. And I've had the experience of like being in the middle of drawing something and then all of a sudden the screen freezes and it just closes down. And I forgot to save. Like all of that work is gone, gone. So save as you go along. I'm kind of in the habit of doing that anyway, but sometimes I do forget, and I haven't had it crash on me in a while. So fingers crossed that I don't know, they're like working their magic on there. On the last update that they did, maybe they got rid of all of those issues. And I'm certainly not going to complain because Inkscape is an open source graphic software program. Which just means that you don't have to pay a monthly subscription. You don't have to pay like a fee to use it like you would when you use something like Adobe Illustrator or the whole, Photoshop, that whole suite of things. I think they have, how much is their subscription? I want to say like maybe the regular subscription is probably like maybe $25, $30, something like that. It's not expensive, but if you are, let's say like, doing illustration as a business, a lot of people do like to use Illustrator. You don't have to use Illustrator because Inkscape is professional quality. And where was I going with this? Oh, just saying that once you get started, you'll start seeing that, you're going to start using lots of different things in your business. So it's like $30 here, 25 here, 15 here, and it just starts to add up. So it's just up to you to decide, like, where you want to put that money towards. And for me, Inkscape works very, very well. I have made all of my SVGs using Inkscape. I think I tried and like tested out Illustrator. I think I did it before I used Inkscape, and it was like, right at the beginning. So just at the beginning of when you're doing anything, it seems kind of overwhelming. And I think I opened it and I was just like, oh my God, what is this? This is like stuff all over the place. And I I think I like quickly shut it, which was like the same thing that happened to me in Inkscape, but I learned to use Inkscape and realized that, it's a really good program. All right, I have a question from Belinda. Hi, Belinda, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Do I use Canva? Yes, I do. I use Canva. I've been using it for a few years now, and I use the pro version. It's been like a year now that I've been using the pro version, and I really like it. The basic version is also great. I used that for a couple of years before I switched over to the pro version. Do you use Canva right now? Do you like it? Like right now, I don't see myself like going back to not using Canva. Canva is what I use to make like graphics for Pinterest, for social media. Sometimes if I want to make like a quick short little clip of a video, I use Canva for that. What else? You can make GIFs in Canva, GIFs, whatever you want to call it. I use Canva for that. What else? It is okay. You use Canva, yes. Don't you love it? I can't really, like I said, I cannot see myself going back to not using Canva. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of things out there because I have used some other things. Forget the names of them now, but I'm just so used to it. You know, it's like once you get to using one thing, you're used to it and you just kind of stick with it. Kind of like what kind of toothpaste you buy. Go in the store, I buy the same brand. Like whether it's on sale or not, I just buy the same brand. Trying to think, what else do I use? Oh, the Canva Pro. They have content calendar that I use so I can like schedule stuff that goes out to Facebook, to Pinterest. Oh, the ebook that I have. So the Inkscape shortcuts ebook, I think I formatted that in Canva. So I think I use like Google Docs for some of it, but to like get like the formatting and like, you know, having like the way it looks pretty and set up, I use Canva for that. So here, I just have the Align and Distributes menu open up again, just because I kind of want to like have even spacing in where I have the ridges, and I don't want one to be up and one to be down. So as I am duplicating them, that's fine, but at the end, I'm going to select all of them and align them so that they're horizontally even. Yeah, that's what I want to say. I'm really liking this time to come on to do lives. I know it's like pretty early if you're in the States. It's probably pretty early for you. It's just like this is the time where it's quiet in my house. Like nobody is here. So it's perfect. And I have heard some feedback that, you know, it's a good time for some of you as well, which I am glad. And even if you can't catch it live, you can catch me on the replay and let me know if you're watching this on the replay later. But I'm really happy when you're here live with me, like Belinda is, so we can have like, you know, interaction. And as I mentioned, like when you have questions, like Belinda just did, I can answer your questions, you know, live and direct. I'm laughing because I'm reading Belinda's comment. I'm not like making fun of you, but that just made me laugh. I'm sorry that I woke you up, but I am still happy that you are here joining me because I do think that this is beneficial. I think you will like it. And hey, like I said, you got your question answered live and direct. What time is it for you, Belinda? Are you in the States? Are you on the East Coast, West Coast, somewhere in the middle? Because for me, it is so what, 1:45 in the afternoon here in France. So even though, like I said, it's quiet here in my house, even though my daughter did come home like 45 minutes ago to grab something, I forget. She just ran back out, so that was great. My son's not here, my husband's not here. It's just the cat, and I think he's sleeping. So that is perfect. All right, so we are still lining up these ridges. And like I said, I will align them using the Align and Distributes menu. Yes, Belinda. I have heard a lot of people say that Inkscape was confusing to them. I have to admit, when I first opened up Inkscape, it was also confusing to me because you can even see like if this is if you're a beginner, you can see right there on my screen that there are like several rows of little icons and tools and numbers, and so the first time I opened it, I think I opened it and I was like, I can't right now. I'm gonna have to shut this down, and I really had to like come back and just try using it. Um, to kind of get the gist of it. So these are the ridges that I have aligned, and I have also grouped them now. So it's easier for me to move them around. So instead of having, what is that, one, two, three, four, five individual shapes, I have grouped them together into one just to make it easier to move them around. All right, so it is 7:45 in the morning. Ooh, okay, then I do apologize for waking you up. I think I was up this morning at what, 7? Because I had a painter coming to paint the bathroom. That was done. All right, what I've done here is I've just duplicated that the back row, and then I have selected both of them, and I'm going to use the control path function to divide them because I want to make it like a cutout. I want to make the ridges like a cutout. So when you eventually go to assemble them, you're not going to have like that extra layer on there. It'll be a cutout. That is not exactly how I wanted my cutout because I want, as you can see, like I slid that away so you can see. Is my head in the way? My big head in the way. Right. Okay. So you can see that that has been cut out. So I had like, think of it when you have like a cookie that you have like a stencil. I've cut that out, and then I can change the color um, just so that you can see it. I'm not gonna keep it that blue color, but that's so that you can see that I've actually cut away like a stencil for the cupcake wrapper and the ridges. All right, Belinda is talking to me. I love this. I love this interaction. All right, she said, I started by copying an image and then manipulate it. Yes, that is the a really good way when you're starting out to learn how to use Inkscape. I have to admit to you, even when I first started, I think I didn't even know how to like copy an image into the program. I was just like, what? No. And just now I'm starting to like dip my toe into what is it, Procreate, because I like drawing, like just like freehand drawing a lot because I am an illustrator. And Inkscape is more since it's vector, it's more about like using shapes to make a drawing. So it's like it's another like mindset shift of like way of drawing. Like if you're just used to me, my whole life I was just used to like drawing, with pencil or painting until I learned how to do digital drawing at all. So learning how to draw by using shapes and using vectors was it was difficult for me in the beginning, but with more practice, I got used to it and saw like all the different things that I could do. And like I said, with vectors, which is what we use in Inkscape, Inkscape is a vector program, just like Illustrator. When you go and save it and put it into like another program, if you are a print on demand, is it print on demand? Yeah, yeah. POD, print on demand designer. If you make like t-shirts, like POD t-shirts, if you use SVGs as opposed to using like something that was drawn in Procreate, you just get like a nice, clearer, crisper image. Same as if you were going to put it in Cricut or Silhouette or something like that. I mean, you can use those raster images. That's what it's called when it's like done in Procreate. You can use raster images, which everything like has a purpose, it serves its purpose. But if you want something that has like clear, crisp lines that, especially that you want to edit. Let's say there's part of the design that you just want to edit like one color. It's easier to do if you're using vectors, a vector-based design, which is SVGs, instead of a raster-based design. I don't even know if you can do that with raster design. I mean, yeah, you can if, I guess if you have the original design, you're the one editing it. Um, but things like if you buy SVGs off of Etsy or design bundles or somewhere like that, you can put them into Inkscape. You can, if you just want to do something simple like changing the colors, don't get me lying. I think you can even change the colors in Design Space. Pretty sure that I've done that. Let me know if I'm lying. But even if you can't do that in Design Space, you can just pop open Inkscape, put your SVG that you bought from somewhere else, change the color, um, add some text to it. You can do all of that in Inkscape and just easily, modify that in Inkscape. All right, so I have just deleted that little rectangle that I was using to make the ridges. So don't need that. My video giving me issues. Like today, I was like, okay, I'm set up. I have my Ethernet connected. I'm not gonna have anything cut off on me. I'm like, what is it doing? All right, nothing's cut out on me. Nothing's cut out on me. We are still connected. We're still going. All right, so now I'm just using the Bezier Pen Tool. You can see on the left side of the screen that that is the one that's selected because it's like that light gray. It's light gray now. It's not like a white background like the other ones. And it's like the, what is it? One, two, three, four, fourth from the bottom on the left side. But that's called the Bezier Pen Tool. And that's a tool that will let you make sort of like free form drawing styles. You can use the pencil tool or the Bezier Pen Tool. Um, if you want to have like nice curves, like this cupcake, the top part of the cupcake that I'm doing now, I can use the Bezier Pen Tool to do that. Like, what is Belinda telling me? Keeping me honest. All right, we're still talking about the color changes. Okay, so I wasn't lying. Okay, you can change the color in Design Space, which says, but good to know that a design can be put in Inkscape and changed. Yeah, I even tell people that when they buy my SVGs from Etsy, because I don't do custom SVGs anymore. I used to, but I stopped doing that just because like it took so much time to personalize those things. So I do tell people when they write to me that they can change it in Inkscape, and I'll send them, one of my blog posts to let them know how to do it if they want to, just do something simple like change the color of something or just um, add text to a file, like put somebody's name on it. And sometimes they'll have like maybe, because yeah, I do have some SVGs that I sell that have words or quotes in it, and they might want to change the color. So, I'll write them back, love that Etsy combo feature, write them back, let them know, yes, you can do this. Sorry, I do not do it myself, but this is how you do it. One, two, three, you can get that done. And people were like, oh my goodness, like I didn't know that I could do that in Inkscape. I know not everybody who buys SVGs is trying to, take them and manipulate them because most likely I understand if you are just buying them, it's because you don't want to spend the time to like, rework it or do it. But if it's something, really short and simple and you can get it done through Inkscape, I let people know like, you can do this with Inkscape. I even give them ways that you can do some of those things with Canva. Yes. I have played around with SVGs and Canva, but it's been a while, so I have to see if they have like new updates to it. Belinda, have you tried the SVG feature in Canva? I don't know if it's on both the basic Canva and the pro Canva. I think it's you have to have Pro Canva to get SVGs in Canva, maybe. But it's been a while since I haven't used the SVG feature in Canva, but I do know that they have it there. So I'm just changing the color to this like pink cotton candy kind of color. And you can see the one on the left has like this darker color outline, and I'm going to achieve that really easily by using the offset function. And that is a function that you can find in the path menu. Move that down. Before I started using the offset function to do these type of things, because you can see like it gives it kind of like a sticker look. Um, well, you know how like stickers will have like that outline, usually like a white outline to it. And I like the way I wanted that look for this cupcake. You can see that I've done that with the cherry, with the stem, with the cupcake, and all of that was achieved using the offset function. And it gives it like a 3D look without it being a 3D SVG. Because I know 3D SVGs, those are something separate. So you actually have separate layers to make that 3D SVG look. And I'm not talking about like 3D like you build a box. I'm talking about those layered SVGs that have, yeah, basically they have several layers to make it look like a 3D, yeah, a 3D image. I don't know, I'm not explaining myself well. Y'all know the 3D SVGs. I've done some in the past draw and chat sessions. I think it was, and I'm going to be doing another one coming up soon for next month. So if you are not on my email list, if you are not in the VIP group, then sign up at paperflowdesigns.com, which is PAPERFLO designs with an S on the end.com. And you can sign up for free. It doesn't cost you anything, but you will get an email message from me like Belinda got. Hopefully it won't be at 7:44 in the morning if you're not on the East Coast. But to let you know when I'm going on live, and also to let you know about like sales that are going on, like for my course, um, blog posts, like tutorials. So if you can't be on here live, you can still jump in when it's convenient for you to watch some of these sessions. And I try not to call them tutorials because I'm not really explaining each step. This is like, you know, an informal, come, see, draw, chat, ask questions. Um, yeah, it's just like, you know, a hangout session while we get to draw and see in action what's really happening in Inkscape. So I'm just changing that color there, a little deeper pink color. Everything that I like to show, whether it's in my So Simple SVG Files course or these draw and chat sessions, they are simple drawings that are using basic shapes, circles, squares, stars, everything that's there in Inkscape. So I've just used the offset feature. So you can see we just made like the outline on the cupcake just with one click in Inkscape, just using the offset feature. And then I can like, you can see at the top, there's like a little white, which is now blue square. I can pull it up a little higher and that'll just like, that'll make the offset even bigger, make it like fatter, fat and juicy. I can pull it in closer to it and it'll just give me like a really nice, a thinner border. So you have a lot of options by using the offset tool in Inkscape. I'm just looking on the side to see if I haven't missed any comments because it's like stuff is scrolling down. All right, now we're on to drawing the cherry for our cupcake, and you can't get any easier than this. We're just using a circle. One thing I will say, you will probably not see me running up like and clicking on things in the menu, like the drop down menus, because I do use the shortcut. So if you are wondering like, well, why don't I see what she's clicking, is because I use the shortcuts, the keyboard shortcuts. All right, got a question. Belinda says she missed that offset step. Yes, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't, I use a shortcut so you don't see, like, especially when I'm doing the draw and chat sessions, because it doesn't take up a lot. It doesn't take up as much time. But if you go to the path functions, scroll down the little drop down menu, you'll see the offset. It'll be written offset on there, and you just click on offset, and you'll see that expand on there. All right, so to shape the cherry, I'm just double clicking to get the nodes, which are those little gray squares. What is the shortcut for the offset on the keyboard? It should be Control plus the parentheses sign, like the close parentheses sign. I think both of them, because there's like three different offsets. So the one I use on here, I believe it's it's Control and then parentheses, close parentheses sign. A lot of times I just use my mouse and the keyboard, so those shortcuts come in handy for me. Sometimes I will plug in, a lot of times, I won't say sometimes, a lot of times I will plug in my graphic tablet. I don't have it plugged in today. And there are hotkeys on there that I can program, but it's not going to be enough because there's like, I think, what, 3 or 4 hotkeys. So I have it programmed to save, of course, to do other things like duplicate. What else do I use a lot? I think select, maybe like cut path, things like that. But there's only, like I said, there's only a couple hotkeys on my graphic tablet at least. Um, and then with the number of shortcuts that they have in Inkscape, I doubt that there'll be any graphic tablet out there that's gonna be able to accommodate, excuse me, be able to accommodate all of the shortcuts. So that's why I say it's good to know the keyboard shortcuts too, because most likely you're going to be using Inkscape um, with a keyboard somewhere. I mean, you don't have to. You can use it, like I said, with the graphic tablet, but your keyboard will still be there. And that's the thing that I like about Inkscape as well, as opposed to using something like Procreate. Procreate, I like it. It's fun. Like if I'm just chilling on the couch and I just want to grab my iPad and start drawing with Apple Pencil, that's fun too. I know they have shortcuts in there. Before somebody tells me, you can use shortcuts in there. But with Inkscape, I can draw with the graphic tablet. I can have the tablet plugged in to my laptop. I can draw with the pen, and I can also use my keyboard shortcuts at the same time. So I feel like I'm a little bit like the Matrix. I'm like I be drawing with one hand, and then like using my left hand to make the shortcuts, or the mouse too at the same time. So I have like all three of those things: the graphic tablet, the mouse, and the keyboard. So it just takes some getting used to. All right, so that is our base of our cherry. I'm going to make the offset again. So to do that, I'll select what I want to offset. I'll select it. The shortcut for that, I think, is just you click on S on your keyboard, you can select it, or you can use the arrow on the left side of the toolbar to select. And I will just use the shortcut, the Control close parentheses, or you can go up to the path menu. Um, I don't know if you can see it because on my screen it's kind of covered up, but it's just those things that you see that are written out. It'll say like file, save, path, tool, extensions. So the one that's written path, you click on that, you'll get a drop down menu, and then you scroll down until you see offset. And I'm pretty sure it's the one that is control, close parentheses. If not, do control Z so that you can undo what you just did if that wasn't it, and then choose the other one. So in my version of Inkscape, I have the latest version downloaded. I have like, I think 3 different offset functions. I think they didn't used to have that in the old version. I forget how many versions they have now, how many versions of Inkscape there are now. But I recently upgraded and got the latest one. And the only thing that kind of changed were kind of like the icons and stuff. Pretty much everything else stayed the same. So it wasn't like a huge change. All right, you see that little button, that little square? That's when I know I have the offset, and then I can just pull that out. So while I'm still holding on to it, I can pull that out. I see my husband is watching. Hello, cuckoo. He's got the little chef's emoji on there because he is at work at the restaurant. That is what he does for a living. He's a chef. My stomach is happy about that. All right, so we have done the cherry, and now we're going to make the stem. And like I said, we're going to use the offset tool to make the stem as well. So you're not going to see where I go and use the offset because I use the shortcuts, but I did, mention the shortcuts to you so you know what to use yourself or to try it out, where to find it. So we're starting out with just a rectangle, plain old simple rectangle, and then I'll double click to get those nodes so that I can pull out the top section of the rectangle and the bottom section just to round it out because I don't want it to be like a stiff rectangle. And no, the color is not going to stay blue. The blue is my default color, which is something I think if I really did want to change my default colors, I can go into the settings and change that, but it's not really a big deal to me, so I just leave it. All right, now I can narrow the bottom out a little bit, and I'm also going to pull out the sides to curve the stem. For this, I'm just using my mouse to play around with the nodes. But like I said, you can plug in your graphic tablet. You can use your little stylus that comes with it, the pen. All right, so I'm just doing is just reaching in there from the middle section and just pulling out that line where it was like a straight up and down line and making it curved. For all of those of you who are on here live, like I said, I am so grateful to you. Thank you again. I know it's early mornings for some. I'm just shrinking down the stem a little bit and trying to get the size that I want. And I don't want it too skinny because when you make things that are like really thin and skinny, um, if you are using this as an SVG that you're gonna like make a cut file, um, and like cut vinyl out of it, it just might be a little harder to work with it when you have like a really thin, um, like a thin space. What am I gonna say? Like it's not thick. That's what I want to say. Okay, let's get our words right. When you have something that's not really thick and you have like, just like one little piece of vinyl kind of hanging out there. So I've just been used to doing that like for my own designs that I sell. So when I draw, I kind of think about that as well. Like what's the customer, the end user are they going to be able to use this easily? Like once they've cut this out, and I don't want them to load it up in their machine and then like, Cricut, like the blades just cut right through it and it doesn't give them something that they can use. I don't want any complaints in my Etsy combos. And you don't either if you're making this. I mean, even if you're making it for yourself, we want things to be nice and simple. We keep it simple. All right, so I'm changing the color to this twiggy brown color. You can see it's still selected. Once I have that done, I can get ready to put the offset on the stem as well. And if any of the things that I've mentioned or I'm talking about, like I said, I can't go into 100% detail onto everything because some of these things do require like a little bit more explanation. But I do go into step by step in my course. So if you're interested in learning more about how to make SVGs yourself, you can check out my course, which is So Simple SVG Files. And there you'll have step by step videos that you can go back to and watch where I show you, the names of everything, the tools like the menu bars, what to use, the best shortcuts, how to, yeah, how to get like, copy and paste, how to use the different features. And a lot of the stuff is even like written out on the screen for you. Like here, I can't write down everything. Like Belinda had asked me the name of the shortcut. And in the course, I actually have the names of things written on the screen because I was able to, you know, film that and then go back and edit it and write those things out. All right, so now you can see the offset on the stem as well. And I think it's pretty obvious that, if I don't change the color of the offset, you're not really going to see it because the offset will still be there. But if you don't give it a different color just to offset it, you won't see that there's an offset on there. Right, so I have grouped those together and then I'm just going to stick that right to the top of the cherry. Right, I will select both of those. So I selected the cherry and the stem and then move it into place on top of my cupcake. Just gently place it on there. As you can see, it's in front of the cupcake on mine. If for whatever reason, let's say yours is not, you can you can move things behind and forward of in your design in Inkscape. I don't know if you can see, but I'm just going to explain it to you really quickly. There's like the first toolbar that's like closest to the stem. You'll see like there's like a thing with like black lines and arrows on there. Yeah, I'm doing a great job of explaining that. But that's just how you can move the different elements in front and behind things in Inkscape. Like I said, in the course, I actually like, show you with written little arrows where everything is. But for here, I'm just chatting and showing you different elements as I can and explaining it as I get questions coming up. All right, we're getting to the sprinkles next, and I'm just using the circle tool. All right, if you are still hanging in here with me, you are a trooper because I've been on here for 45 minutes so far. I didn't think this one was going to be that long, but at least you're getting to see like, different techniques that you can use in Inkscape. And for the sprinkles, I'm not going to draw each of them one by one because I'm the queen of shortcuts. I don't like that. So you'll see what we're going to do. I'm going to draw the first one. I'll change the color to be this yellow color that I'm already using. I don't think I mentioned that I made a color palette before starting. Before, I never used to make color palettes. Color palettes are just like what you see if you see like the color menu on the bottom, that little stripe that has like the rainbow colors down there on the bottom. A color palette is just the colors that you're going to use to make your design that you've chosen and selected beforehand. So it's like a set of colors. And it just helps when you have a color palette so you can keep things organized and like nice and cohesive, and you don't get this like crazy looking drawing at the end. I mean, if you like crazy looking drawings, that's fine, but I found that people tend to like and buy things that kind of looks like they go together. It looks nice. And the color palette, I think, is just, for me, it saves me the headache of having to think, okay, like what colors am I going to use when I'm already in the process of drawing. So if you think about that beforehand, it's just like one last thing to have to think about. Because I've also been there sometimes when I didn't use a color palette, and then I was just down there at the bottom, like scrolling, like, "Ooh, that's a nice orange," or maybe I'll try that blue. And I'm like, "Oh, that one doesn't go with that one." So save yourself the headache and make a color palette beforehand. If you're interested in how to make a color palette, how to come up with a color palette, what does a color palette look like, let me know in the comments, and maybe I can make a video about that. If you're like, "Girl, nobody wants to know about how to make a color palette," you can tell me that too. My feelings will not be hurt. All right, so far I have got 3 sprinkles, and I know you're like, "I thought you told us you were not gonna make each sprinkle one at a time." I'm not, but I do have to have, like, my first set. And even the first sprinkle, I use the circle tool to make that, and the other ones, I just copy and paste it to get the second, third, and fourth sprinkle. And then I can double click on it while it's selected. You can see that it's selected because it has like a square around it. Double click on it and it'll get me the rotation arrows, which are just those curved blue arrows, and then I can spin it around because I don't want them all in the same direction because that's just gonna look funky. It's just gonna look weird. So double click to get the rotation arrows. I said double click, no, double click gives you the nodes. Click it one time to get the rotation handles, to get the rotation arrows, and then just move it around. All right, so now I'm selecting all 4 of them, and then I can just duplicate that either using Control D, which is a shortcut to duplicate, or using the space bar, which I love doing. Like space bar will let you copy and paste, or I can use Control C like you do with Word documents, and then Control V to paste it. Oh, you're clicking buttons. I thought I was going to shut something off. All right, Belinda, you would like to see a color palette? Okay, all right. I'm gonna put that. Write that down right now. I don't forget. Sometimes I think like, oh, nobody would want to see that. That's gonna be so boring, but that's not true. Like you're telling me, that's not true. Color palette. Thank you. Thank you for chiming in and letting me know that. I think I should ask questions like that more often because there's probably lots of things that I don't necessarily think about right away, and they could be questions that you guys have. And in my head, I just think like, oh, you know, nobody wants to know that. That's gonna be, boring. And it could probably I can make a shorter video so you won't have to be on here for like an hour with me if you want to go back to sleep or something or take a nap or do something else. But shorter videos would probably be nice. And yeah, I could use suggestions for things that would be great for shorter videos like that. So thank you very much, Belinda. What else did I want to say? Oh, I forgot to show you. Um, before I want to talk about sketches. So before I even like start drawing anything in Inkscape, I always make a sketch on paper. And sometimes it can be, it's not complicated. It's just like really simple, quick sketches, just so like I have an idea in my head of what it's going to look like. So I'm just going to show you here. Oh, you can see that. So this is just on like a really long post-it note. So I have this like post-it pad that I keep next to me, and I just jot down ideas. And so I was thinking, okay, what can I do for the next let me get a little bit bigger. A little bit. A little bit. Hopefully I don't mess anything up. Hey, there we go. All right. Oh yeah, because it's kind of out of focus. Kind of blurry. All right. So yeah, so this was just this cupcake idea, and I just jotted this down on the on this post-it pad, along with like some other ideas for this drawing series. So take that out of the way. All right. Put this back. Me in the little corner, sticking myself in the corner. So I'm still just putting the sprinkles around. I will change the color later, so it'll look like the one that's on the left. Let me take my head out of the way. Yeah, it'll look like the one on the left. But for now, I'm just kind of like playing around with the position of where I want the sprinkles and just moving them around. So even though I had like, what was it, like 4 or 5 of them selected, and then I copied or duplicated them to put them somewhere else. Once they're pasted, I can still go back and copy one and add another one here, or maybe like just copy 2 and then like put 2 somewhere else on my cupcake. All right, we are coming down to the home stretch with our sprinkles. So I think with the exception of the frosted part of the cupcake itself, we used simple basic shapes for everything else. For the wrapper, we use the rectangle tool for the wrapper, the ridges in the wrapper. We use the circle tool for the cherry. We use the rectangle tool for the stem. And even making the little, the pink cupcake part of it wasn't that hard, I'll say, using the Bezier pen. The Bezier pen, I will say in the beginning, if you've never used it before, it can take some getting used to. So I would say try that out for yourself. Try it a couple times. Don't give up on the first time because it's kind of like a weird sensation. It's not like when you're drawing on paper. Keep checking because I'm like so worried that my screen is gonna freeze on me and freeze on you, which I don't want to do. All right, so now I'm just selecting a couple of the sprinkles so that I can change the color. So as you can see, like everything that where it has like the little blue lines and you can see the little dotted lines are on it, those are the sprinkles that I've selected. And I can pick the color and it'll change the color of each sprinkle that is selected. So even for something like changing the colors in your design, you don't have to do that one element at a time. All right, so just change those to this like bright green. What is that, like chartreuse? Sure, I can't even say that word. I don't even know how to try. That bright green color. I'll pick a few more of them. And the way to do that is easy with your keyboard. Just hold down the shift button while you click and select each item that you want to change the color of. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 selected so far, and I can change the color of all of those at the same time. So change that to this red color. So far I've got, still need my blue and my white color. I have 3 colors here because I started out with the yellow. So I've got the yellow done, the green done, the red done. All right, another one. What is that so far? 1, 2, 3. Okay, the fourth one, change that to white. And this color theme, you'll see in next week's, I'm going to be reusing this color palette in next week's drawing and also the week after that. So everything in the So Sweet collection and the So Sweet drawing series will go together. And that's kind of like another thing that's important about creating color palettes. If you're going to make designs that you kind of want them to go together, like what do I have in the shop? I have some designs that are like boy girl designs, not saying like one is for a boy, but I mean like it's like a drawing of a little boy and one of a little girl, but it's kind of like it's a set so you can see that they go together. So if you make color palettes, that helps you uh, make things more cohesive so you can see that they go together without you having to like worry like, okay, how am I gonna get this color to match some design that I already made like maybe a day or two ago. There are ways around that. You can import that design, your previous design, into your new Inkscape drawing and then use the colors from that. But if you just have your color palette ready to go and you're just like taking it with you, not like actually picking it up, taking it with you, but importing that into Inkscape with you for all the drawings in the same series, it will save you time. Right, so we have our sprinkles here, and I can still double click, click once on them to get the rotation handles because I still want them moved around. You see, I just tried to do a little too much and moved my offset cupcake. And I'm not worried because I can hit undo to go back and put that back. Because since it wasn't offset, it was like, no, don't touch me, leave me alone, unless you want problems. So the good Control Z shortcut, which is to undo, has saved many a mistake. All right, and sometimes like I know that I tend to like when I get to the end of a drawing, I can be like hanging on, changing little details, moving things like 1 millimeter that I don't really need to do. It's still a bad habit of mine. Like me twisting that little sprinkle. Did I need to twist that by 5 millimeters. Not really, but I still did it. Moving this one. Sometimes I will say I do think about moving elements because I think about later on when it's going to be used in design space or something like that. Um, I'm thinking about where things are placed and how they're going to be cut. So it's not always for nothing. All right, and we're not quite done here because still moving around these wrinkles. I'm going to put the little shiny touch onto the cherry, and I'm going to use the sprinkle. I like to reuse things too. That's another shortcut of mine. I like to reuse design elements that I already have here on the screen. Why not reuse them? It's, it can serve more than one purpose. So I'm just taking that white sprinkle, copied it by hitting duplicate, which is just Control D. It's a shortcut to duplicate a design. And then I can just double click to get the nodes and move those nodes around to give it that little bump that I'm going to put onto the cherry so that I can have that shine effect on the cherry. So these are just little ways that you can reuse different elements of your design over again. All right, and that is our cupcake. Let me know if you like that. I hope you did. It was kind of on the longish end, I know. I'm sorry about that, but I got to show you a lot of different techniques. You got to ask questions. I'm really glad about that. Next week's will not be as long. I'm not lying. It shouldn't be. If you want to know what that's going to be ahead of time before everyone else does, please get into my VIP group. All right, Linda's got me laughing. Like just in time. I know I had you on here a while. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being a trooper, Belinda. Seriously. If you like this, please share this with somebody that you love. Share this with another crafter. Let them know, what they can learn in Inkscape. If Inkscape is a mystery for them, please have them come join us. If, like I said, if you are on here for the first time and you want to be updated and know what we're going to be drawing ahead of time, sign up. Go to Paperflow Designs at PAPERFLO designs.com and get on the list. It is free. And that is it. Thank you so much. Let me take this off the screen. All right. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know. Say hi, leave a comment, ask questions, and I will see you again next Friday. Thanks.